Welcome to Off-Grid Oregon. On this channel, we do semi-manly stuff like build forge burners out of plumbing parts. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks. The plan is to make a forge burner out of some plumbing parts. There's a million YouTube videos that do the same thing. What they do is they always have like a bigger side, and then the propane goes in on the bigger side. Then they have a smaller bell on the outside. I'm going to try and make it out of stuff that I have lying around. So this is 3/4 inch. I think these guys are 1.5 inches, which is bigger than everyone else uses. May not work. The hardest part of making this is you need to get the propane to flow through a very, very small hole. So I looked through all my parts. You can see I got lots of parts. This is the same kind of thing that goes in, attaches to the tank. And I just happen to have this one that has a teeny little hole. I mean, it's very, very small. So that's what I'm using. I'm trying to make this thing free, you know, in quotes, free, because I already own all the parts. And so out of, you know, I got another bucket full of parts. Out of all the parts, the only thing I had with a teeny, teeny hole was this thing right here. So I didn't have to go any further. But I've watched other videos, and other things that people do is they take a cap and then they drill a tiny hole in the center. Now, drilling tiny holes with tiny drill bits it's going to break the drill bit, but anyways, it is an option, something to try. And I've been thinking about doing this for a month or two. So a long time ago, I went on eBay and bought a tiny drill bit set. They're cheap. I now own one because I found this thing. I don't need it. I do want to show there's other ones like this. See that hole? Probably too big, or or maybe you want to make a giant torch and then it's the right size. Here's another one. It's got the same size. This thing is like 1/64 of an inch or something like that. It's teeny. 1/2 millimeter smaller. I don't know. It's very, very small. An idea that I had, someone else kind of had this idea, is that you can just take a piece of copper tubing and crimp it. I think their idea was you just crimp it, but then I had the idea, well, what if you put like a tiny wire through there, crimp it around the wire, and then pull out the wire, if I can. There, okay. Probably can't see that, but anyways, now there's a tiny hole in this crimped copper tubing. So if you get the correct compression fittings, then you're set. I think everyone can come up with this kind of plumbing parts. And then the thing that goes to the tank, basically I took the line off of a weed burner. So you might have a hose, you might look at like an old broken down barbecue. Might have half, or who knows, all the parts for this. Weed burners may have some of the parts you need. You basically just got to look around, or you can bite the bullet and go out and buy stuff. Alright, here's a piece of metal I'm going to use to try and hold this thing, which is I'm going to try and use as the propane nozzle. So I just kind of held it up to the where it's going to go, drilled some holes, and it's made out of thin metal, so I can bend it around. I'm sure I won't get it right the first time. Alright, I'm going to try and wire my nozzle to my little support there. wired my little propane nozzle to my piece of metal. Feels pretty sturdy. Looks like it's halfway decently centered. I forgot to tighten this thing. I guess we'll tighten it now. Okay. And that's why it's thin, so I can move this thing back and forth easily. Turns out I love everything about this. Maybe I'll make a more sturdy one for later. Here's one of my propane tanks. I got it at a garage sale. It's a 1 gallon. It's old school, so you can't take it to the gas station and get it filled up. But if you can fill it up yourself, it's awesome because it's so portable. And I have my hose connected to it and then connected to the forge burner. So let's see how this thing works. Some new propane tanks have safety features built into them that may make them not quite as good as this old style one. I think that might work. Alright, let's try a 3/4 inch nipple instead. This thing's hot, but not burning my rubber gloves, so there you go. So this is just a tiny bit wider orifice than that. Alright, that's not wide enough. Good to know. Let's see if for some reason it works with nothing on the end. It's a little bit scary, but well, you saw what it did. Another thing to say is that a lot of videos, they do this without welding. I mean, welding makes it so easy. But anyways, when they do it without welding, what it is you like drill holes in this. You know, maybe 2 on this side, 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom. You tap them, and then you run bolts in there so you can stick whatever you want inside of it, and then use those bolts to hold it. You know, I guess if you don't have a welder, or that sounds good to you, that's another option. So what's the game plan? There's a YouTube channel called Nighthawk and Light. Great channel. He made a video about how you can make a forge that'll get, you know, steel up to red hot out of a coffee can and like flour, cornstarch, and powdered sugar. And so I'm gonna make one of those and use this on it. But that will be a separate video. Love ya.